Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Scott.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, everyone.
Actually, it's afternoon where I live.
Me too.
Me too.
Same.
Yeah, I should start just saying hello because we've got a lot of time zones we're working with here. So,
Right.
okay, I'm going to give it a minute or two for everybody to stream in.
You're going to learn about photos, boogie doogie.
Yep. Okay. Well, people are rolling in. Is there anybody who is taking a Get Set Up class for the first time? No, we're all
Yeah.
okay.
First time.
First
taking the
time,
class.
Ed? Okay,
Yeah.
well, welcome. Yeah. Happy to have you here. Welcome back to all the Get Set Up veterans as well. Ed, are you pretty familiar with Zoom? And
I've been in a couple of Zoom meetings. Some of
Okay.
them went okay, and the others kind of scrambling.
okay. Just want to make sure you know where the chat button is and things like that. If you have any questions, you want to pop those in. Those are down at the bottom of your screen, probably bottom of your Zoom screen.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay. All right. Well,
Hello.
hello, how are you?
Hi. Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to get us started. I've got a lot I'd like to tell you about today regarding Google Photos. So my name is Scott, and I am here with my colleague Michael, who is going to be monitoring the chat for any questions you have. So this one usually yields a lot of questions, so I think we're going to try to do that through the chat today, just so we can keep things rolling on a smooth pace and make sure all the questions get answered. So I will go ahead and get us started, but happy to be with you all today. If you are expecting, well, what I'm going to do is, for the time being, before I do that, Michael, do you want to say anything about the procedures with the questions or anything?
No, I guess everything is cool. You can just start teaching,
Great.
and if there are any
Okay.
questions, I will keep my eye on the chat box, and then I will relay those questions to you.
That's good. I'll break periodically and we'll go over those. So
Thanks.
let me get us started. First thing I want to do is I am muting us all for the time being, just so there aren't any distracting background noises, and we can get started. Okay, so we're going to talk today about just some basics around the photos storage and organization tool that Google provides. A little bit about me. I live in Silver Spring, Maryland. I have lived in this area for quite some time. It's right outside of Washington, D.C. I'm a former journalist, and in my previous job, just before coming to Get Set Up, I was a communications executive and led website development and social media outreach. So I had to store a lot of things in programs like what Google provides. And I really love being here. I enjoy the interactive learning that Get Set Up fosters. I love the community building mission and love seeing familiar faces and also meeting new people. And just a little bit more about Get Set Up. We are here to help you learn useful skills from people like you. So you can go and do things with your devices, with technology, with nutrition, all kinds of things. We learn from each other. Ideally, we can see you on camera if you're not too shy. We are recording this class, so if you would like to request a recording, you can email us at help@getsetup.io. That might come in handy if you want to review anything that we've gone over. If you're joining by live stream, welcome. Happy to have you watching. Best way to participate in class is to join us, register for a class, and then you can pop questions in right away. And in smaller classes, even ask them right away. Get Set Up is not paid to promote specific products. So this is not meant to be an endorsement of Google or any of its products or services, but just something that's informational. So what I would like to help you do today is set up your Google Photos account if you don't have one, and then select a storage plan for your photo collection. And there are some options there. And then we'll talk about searching for and finding specific photos in your collection. If there's anything else that you were really wanting to learn today about Google Photos, go ahead and pop that into the chat. And when I stop to ask Michael about questions, I can address those. Okay. All right, so Google Photos is part of Google's suite of apps, and there are many. So when you go to Google and open it up, if you have an account, which you would touch on right here, usually it's your initial to open it up, you will find all of these apps that Google provides. There's Google Drive to store documents, Google Calendar. Here is Google Photos. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, of course. And this is the icon you will look for whenever you want to access Google Photos. And so what does it do? This allows you to securely and automatically store copies of your photos online as backup. And the automatic part is kind of key because it makes it very effortless for you. And it enables you to access your photos on all your devices. It synchronizes across all your devices. So you can see your photos on a smartphone, on your tablet, on your laptop or your desktop computer. On those mobile devices, you just need to have a Google Photos mobile app downloaded to those devices to be able to just call that up and look at your pictures. It identifies objects and events and places in each photo, and it tags them with keywords. And that's going to make it really easy for you to search. It does this automatically with artificial intelligence, image recognition technology. So it's pretty amazing. And it also uses facial recognition technology. So it is grouping together photos of each individual that appears repeatedly in your photo collection. And then there's an easy step of just, if you want to, just naming that, putting the name to that face, and you can look for pictures of an individual person, whether that's a grandchild, friend, something like that, just by typing in their name.
Scott, Bernie's asking, like, can you store videos in photos too?
Yes, videos can be stored too.
And Lydia says that she has heard that sometimes this summer, Google will be charging for storing pictures. Do you have an insight for that?
Yeah, in fact, I was just going to go over that now, because that storage plan, their policy is changing. So this part gets a little difficult. So I'll stop at the end of this and we can make sure everybody is following it. But it's a little confusing because they're right in the midst of changing this. Right now, Google offers you for free 15 gigabytes of storage space. And 15 gigabytes will probably hold on average around 5,000 photos. And that may seem like a lot, but actually you can hit that 15 gig ceiling fairly quickly. For $20 a year, you can get 100 gigabytes of free storage, and that will hold about 30,000 photos. So quite a bit more. $40 a year will get you 200 gigabytes. And so you just double the number of photos you can save there. Keep in mind all the Google apps you use. If you're storing anything on Google Drive, if you're using Gmail, you're keeping a Google Calendar, all of that collectively counts toward these limits. So photos and video will typically take up the most room unless you have a boatload of documents that you're backing up. So keep that in mind, that whatever you're using Google-wise is probably going to be stored up there. And lastly, for $120 a year, if you really need it, you can have 2 terabytes of storage space. 2 terabytes could store 500,000 photos. That's a huge amount of space. I don't know that many people need that. Maybe some professional photographers. I don't know. The other thing it does is it provides you with unlimited free space for high quality photos. So original photos are backed up at what happens is that you can set it so that original photos are backed up at a slightly reduced quality, so they take up less digital space. So if you take a photo that is, say, 60 megapixels, it will be backed up at 16 megapixels if you opt for that free space. And that means it's unlimited. However, as of June 1st, that unlimited free option ends. And all new photos going forward, regardless of the quality, will count toward your storage limit. And any photos that you already have stored won't count toward the limit, but going forward, they will. So it might be worth loading up your Google account before that cutoff takes place. Okay. Any questions on that? Michael, do we have any on it?
Yeah, Rose is asking like where can she find her photos from 2010?
Her photos from where? I'm sorry.
From 2010, the year 2010.
Oh, from 2010. That you can do a search for. I'm going to walk through that shortly about how to search for photos on your account once you've loaded them up or had them backed up. Okay, so to get started, you just sign up for a Google account. If you are using Gmail, you already have a Google account. You can sign up. You don't need to use a Gmail account to sign up for any other Google apps. It is, you can use a Yahoo email address or Outlook or anything like that. But once you are set there, then you just download the Google Photos mobile app to your smart device or smart devices. So if you want it on both your iPad and your iPhone, just want to make sure you download those to both. And then you'll activate the backup and sync on the app to have it automatically back up your photos. So what that's going to look like, I'm going to open up my phone screen for just a second and walk you through what that'll look like on your phone. Okay, so once you have the Photos app downloaded, And you can see it right here on my phone screen. Opens up to my library. I've already got all of this backing up, but if I go here, this is where I get into my settings. So whenever you call up your account, just look up here. You can see it's already starting to back up going through a backup phase here. But that is where you see your account. It's usually an initial or something like that. Open that up. And you want to go down to photo settings to set up this automatic backup and sync. And there it is. You go there. You want to make sure that it's turned on. And here you can see that there is the information about this changing policy. You will probably, once you get an account, get an email from Google explaining that too. And as you see here on the upload size, I have it set for the high quality, meaning that I'm allowing Google to back up my photos at a reduced quality so that I have more storage space. And I get unlimited storage. If you don't want to do that, if you want to keep them in the original quality that you shot them, then you just click original.
Excuse me, if I enable them to store it at a reduced quality to save space on photo storage, can I get the original photo at a later time at the original resolution? And also, if I have it, although I have an iPhone, so I'm not sure what, but if I wanted to, how do you know what resolution your photo is, if in case you want to look at the way it was stored in the cloud versus how it is on your phone? Is there a way to look at that?
Well, usually you would find that depending on what you're taking your pictures with, if you're using an iPhone, I can tell you that most pictures are, I think all iPhones are still only taking pictures at about 12 megapixels. So you're going to be below that 16 megapixel count anyway. If you're using an Android device, and I don't use Android, so I'm not sure where you probably find it in your camera settings or in some kind of information area within your phone. Some of those can take pictures at about 60 to 100 megapixels. They're taking much richer, higher resolution photos. So, but if you're using an iPhone, it's going to be about 12 megapixels. Usually you can find the specs in your settings in your phone, just in general, to see what the photos are being taken at.
And then I'm sorry, what were the megapixels that it's stored at, 60 or 16?
16. Yeah.
What is the relationship between that and I guess like DPI, this
Yeah.
resolution? It gets confusing with all these numbers.
Yeah, it's probably going to go off on a tangent. I'm probably not going to have time to go over, but we may want to build a class around that. But yeah, DPI and PPI, that's really going to become relevant when you go into some photo editing and checking the resolution there. But you know, for typical just backing up snapshots and things like that you take with a smartphone, it's probably going to be, well, for an iPhone, it'll be about 12 megapixels. Some digital cameras do it at say maybe 20 on average. So anyway, that is essentially the setup. Once you start doing that, your phone will start, well, actually the app itself will start backing up all your photos into the Google Photos account that you have. So what will end up happening then is you could go to any other device, and I'm going to go to use it on my desktop. Call up Google. There's my account. And if I click on this little circle here with the grid, shows all the apps. I'm just going to click on photos. And there are all the photos I've backed up. These were all sitting on my phone. So some of these I'll probably go through and delete. Here are just some that we were pricing gas grills because we're in the market for that here at my house. So, but anyway, this is where you get to your photo library, and then you can call up any photo. And here is another place where you may find some details about your photo. This isn't the greatest photo, but right here, this is metadata that you find about your photo. So right here, this was at 12.2 megapixels. That MP would be megapixels. So just when to answer your question on that being a spot where you could find that.
So I look at the photo.
If you click on that, and if you go up here and see the I,
okay.
info, that'll open it up and you can see. Yeah, I'm going to talk a little more about metadata in a second, but
Yeah, can I ask you a question from Mir?
yes.
So Mir is asking, like, he has an iPhone that came preloaded with a Photos app, right? That is not Google, the preloaded iPhone Photos app.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He says if I wanted to load it to Google Photos, how do he can do that?
So you would just need to download the app, the Google Photos app, and then go through that setup that I just went through with setting it up in the settings to automatically back up your photos. And if you wanted to then stop using the iCloud, you could just turn that off. I actually do teach a class on the iCloud photos backup as well. Okay. So I want to walk through quickly. We have another class on sharing photos and setting up albums and things like that. If I have time this hour, I might go through a little bit of that, but I want to just show you how things are organized for you so that it automatically, so that it makes it very easy to search for things. So I am just going to take a look here and look for any pictures that I have taken of sunsets. And there they are. And I want to emphasize here that I did not do anything. I did not tag these as sunsets. There are no labels here. Google just recognizes these pictures as pictures of sunsets or pictures with sunsets in them. Now, maybe I want to narrow that down and I want to find a specific sunset picture, maybe one that I remember taking in Amsterdam several years ago. And there it is. And again, I did nothing here, and I'm able, other than set my phone to back the photos up, and I'm all set to go. So let's say I want to look at a picture of my wife from a vacation we took to California. I type in her name and it shows every picture that she appeared in on that California trip. So how is all that happening? Well, I mentioned earlier the metadata. And metadata is information that is stored in each photo, and that'll include the date and the time that the photo was taken. If you have location services turned on your device, like if you're using a smartphone and you have it set so that you can use GPS for directions, things like that, say like Google Maps, it will record the location that you took the photo. And it will also record the device you used to take it. And as you saw there, when I opened up that one photo of my nephew, that recorded it as an iPhone Pro Max, and it recorded the resolution, the settings on the phone, and so forth. Those data travel with that photo no matter where you store it. It's a part of the photo, sort of like the guts of the photo. So what that will look like is, let's find something else here. Okay, say this picture that I took. If I go up here to the little I for information, that will open up all the information about this photo. It will show the date right here and the time I took it. It'll show what device I used. Here it's not showing the megapixel count for some reason. And it is showing the location. And if I click on that, this is integrated with Google Maps. It's going to, by latitude and longitude, show the exact street where I took that picture. This is at my nephew's up in New Jersey.
How did you actually get to that?
If
To
you
show
go
the street?
to show the street, if, let me backtrack here. If I go to, I think I'm going to have to go back here. All right. If I just click on the map that shows up when I open up the information, I just click on that and then it shows up.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, there was a question from Lydia. She was asking how she can get this Photos app on her desktop so that she can access it quicker.
On the desktop?
Yes.
I don't know that there is a Google Photos app for the desktop. I think you do have to go to Google to, I know Amazon does have a desktop app for their photo product, but I think Google does everything through the website. So you'd have to log on to Google and go in that way, unfortunately. The other thing that is happening as your photos are being backed up is that Google is recognizing and tagging. It's got object and facial recognition technology. So it's recognizing and tagging animals and plants and events and objects, places, specific types of plants, specific types of animals, and tagging them for you so that all you need to do is type in a search in your account and come up with photos related to that. And it's grouping each face, as I mentioned earlier, into its own album, and that allows you to tag it with the person's name. So say you want to just sort of browse through what you're looking for. I will show you here. Somebody had asked about finding photos from 2010. All of the years that your photos date back to are showing up in here, right here at the side. You can also always just say, type in a year up here, and it'll show you all the photos from that year. But just to show you how this all gets set up here, if you hit explore up here in the left side, upper left side of your Google screen, you'll see here everything is divided by people and pets, places, and things. And one thing I did neglect to tell you on that setting, I'm going to open up my phone screen one more time to show you how to set this up. Okay. What I'm
Meanwhile,
going to do here is show you where to set things so that it will group the faces. Okay. So when you are in the app on your device where you're backing things up, if you go into your settings, you not only have the backup and sync on, but down here you have an option for grouping similar faces. And if I press on that and open it up, I have this turned on to do that. It's going to group each face into its own little space where you can then go in and attach a name to that face. You can also set it to do that with pets, believe it or not. So again, that's in your settings right down here. And you end up with this result. I'll walk through tagging these in a moment, but you have everything by people, places, and things. So if I open up things, click on view all, you'll see here it's got things divided up by all kinds of categories: birds, skylines, weddings, so it captures events, things like that, dogs. Again, all done automatically. Go back to explore. You can see how it's categorized things by location. Got all kinds of things here. It goes from broad to narrow. So say, here are some pictures from the Netherlands that I took. If I go down further, I start to see specific cities in the Netherlands, like Amsterdam. Hilversum is another town in Holland. And even further down, I think I'll find Delft, Rotterdam, Gouda. These are all Dutch cities. And I did no tagging there either. That all just got categorized automatically. So the one little piece of work that you have to do if you really want to get this organized easily is where you have people and pets. You'll notice here I've got names attached to all of these faces here. And if I open that up, I can start scrolling down and seeing all the faces that are appearing in my library, my photo collection. But some of these do not, as you can see here. So if I do a search, I'm going to take my buddy Hugh here. And if you remember, I was able to find a picture of my wife just by typing in her name. If I type in Hugh, I get nothing. I know I have pictures of him. All I have to do is click on his face, and it will show every photo he appears in already, all grouped together. It just doesn't know what his name is. So if I type in his name here, all I do is hit that pen and type in the name and then hit done. I've now got a name attached to that collection. So if I wanted to look at let me think, see if I have these in here. Yeah, there we go. This was a trip that his family and my family took several years ago to Chesapeake Beach in the Eastern Shore of Maryland. So this makes life really easy in a lot of ways if you are not wanting to spend a boatload of time categorizing and sorting through photos that you've taken over the course of, say, 10 years or something like that. And that's the organization setup. I'm going to stop there, see what other questions we might have.
There's one question from Josie. She asked, like, if you have multiple Google accounts, how does Google Photo works?
So if you have multiple accounts, right now, I'm going to tell you what I've been getting away with. Because I have multiple Google accounts, and each one of them seems to operate completely separately. So if I have, say, let me pull one up here, go to another account, and here are my photos in that account. And I've got different photos being stored here, and it is separate from whatever limit I have on that other. So if I'm approaching, say, my 15 gigabyte limit on that previous account, I can start converting over to backing up on this account and start all over again. That's a little tip that Google may not want you to know, but a separate account is a completely separate account.
A question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have to rename. They assign me mom. I have to find how to. This is Sylvia. When I'm not sure. I'm going to be asking a stupid question. I'm not sure whether I have Google Photos or not, but I have gotten lately a warning or alert that as to change over, because as of June 1st, something will happen. Anyway, so I'm presuming I have that. Now, my question is about organizing, the automatic organizing. I'm having a terrible time because I have about 30,000 photos and videos from different parts of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for instance, when it sorts something into wedding, not every picture from that wedding is in there because I think, for instance, if it doesn't have a wedding gown, if it's a picture of the reception, and it goes someplace else.
Mm-hmm.
People or just things. So I try to have it just chronologically, but that doesn't seem to work either, because it would put pictures that have been modified.
Mm-hmm.
It'll put the date of the modification rather than the original date the picture was taken. So that's very confusing.
Yeah, Sylvia, were these
Oh, thank you for changing.
yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks, Michael. Were these print photos that you've scanned, or were they actually digital photos to begin with?
Well, they have been taken over a period of probably 10 years or more. And at that time, my late husband input a lot. And then when he had time, when we were traveling, and then when we got home, he would then, and we had time, he would edit and maybe use Photoshop, which I'm not familiar with either, to modify some of them.
Mm-hmm.
and he kept the original also.
Okay. Okay.
So now I don't know how to organize all of it in a simple manner so that, or at least one consistent manner chronologically, because the date of the modification is what the automatic organizer does.
Right. Right.
Oh, yes.
So if you know the date that you actually want to apply to the picture, I'll show you where you can do that. If you go to any picture you have and you go open up the information, this may be a little tedious, but you can go down here and where that shows the date.
Uh-huh.
You see right here, there's a little
Right.
pencil
Edit.
app.
Uh-huh.
You click on that, you are able to change that.
Oh, so I can change the date of modification to
Yeah.
the original date.
Right.
That will be difficult too, because they have been over a span of years and over a lot of countries
Yeah.
and situations. So I have no idea, but I may just know about the approximate date when we were at a certain place. Or for instance, when we live in Germany, I knew it was from like 1980s to
Right.
1990s. But at
Yeah.
least that would be a help if I could
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
One other thing, I didn't know if I would have time to do this, but you can go in here and set up your own photo albums. And if you're able to just capture all those pictures, and just because it does all this automatic organizing for you, doesn't mean that that's the only way you can organize your photos. So you can create an album of your own. I've done this with a few vacations that I've taken, and I've just been specific about those. I go here and I type in a title that I want to give a album. And from there, I can go in here and I'll just go ahead and do a search for wedding to find pictures from that specific wedding. So here is one, here is another. And all of these are from one specific wedding I want to get in here. It's not the only wedding I've been to, but from there, then I just click done. And now there's a specific wedding that I have all those photos in. So you may have to search a little bit to find all the photos you want to include in that wedding. But that way you've got some control over the organization if you want.
Okay. If it were chronological, then at least I know they're all together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But when they automatically sort them into weddings and something else, I found in several instances where pictures of the wedding or a certain wedding were in another album, because the system doesn't recognize
Right.
those as being part of the wedding.
Right. So that's why I suggested it may take a little bit of searching and things like that to pull them into an album that you would have of your own. But yeah, that's some control that you do have, so you don't have to rely completely on that automatic system. So
right. I think this has to be done probably maybe within a few years, because now, 10, 20 years,
right.
retroactively, I think that's going to be a little somehow impossible, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, by the way, is there a suggestion somewhere of the categories of or albums, categories of because I was undecided, if I have just friends, then they're in family, which I have, but then there are times when friends and family are together. So where do I put them?
Well, again, you could just set up an album and pull those into, say, one with friends, one's with family, or whatever like that. Just create these separate albums to do that. So, yeah. So,
And then when you travel with friends and family, where do you put those? They
yeah. Yeah, I know there are probably some other questions. So I'm afraid I'm gonna have to move on, Sylvia.
Thank you.
Sorry about
Thank you.
that, but yeah.
There's a question from
Go ahead, Michael.
Ed. Ed is asking like, do you have any tips for family trip pictures?
For family trip pictures, yeah.
Family tree pictures. I guess that means like a tree of family sort of thing.
Oh,
right, Ed?
Ed, do you want to unmute yourself and tell me a little bit more what you were thinking of?
Yeah, we're researching our family tree, and it goes back to, well, one goes back to 1854, and we were trying to get the different generations and the different trees lined up. Is there anything in photos about genealogy or anything that kind of helps you organize that?
Not specifically on that. I think you
Okay.
could probably play around with albums and get it organized that way fairly
Yes.
easily. The one thing that even when you're setting up these albums, you can start, say, I just set up this one, right? But if I wanted to add any photos to it, I could just, oh, sorry, I hit the wrong button. Up here, you'll see a place to add photos. So if you find others that you want to drop in a specific place, you can do that. So yeah, for some of those more specific needs you have, the
okay.
the album structure will work. The
I'll
one
work
nice
with
thing
that.
about that is you can do a search up here too, to really narrow it down to what you're looking for.
I'll work with that. Now, you kind of touched on whether it was taken with the phone or if they were printed copies that were digitized.
Right.
And you don't have that dates or all that metadata.
Right. You won't
You
have that. Yeah.
You have to go in on individually and put that in.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. That is the one drawback with analog photos that maybe you've scanned and then put into your computer. Yeah, those will show up in the metadata. It will show up as a day that you back them up onto Google.
Okay.
And rather than the date that the picture was actually taken. So if you have a picture from like 1995 and you scan that into your computer and then back that up on Google Photos, it's going to have it recorded as today when you backed it up.
Sure.
So, but that's when you can go in and change it right there on the information settings.
Okay, thank you.
Lydia and Bernie are asking, can you say something about sharing?
About sharing? Okay, sure. So with any photo that you might want to share, you can just go up and look for this little symbol. And it's the share symbol. Hopefully that's visible on my screen, but if you click on that, you are able to start doing all kinds of things. First of all, you could just post it directly to Facebook if you wanted. You could post it to Twitter, or you can type an email address in here and then just send it directly to that person that way. Say that you want to send it out to a bunch of people. You can just create a link. You hit create link, and it will create a link to this photo. You copy that. You just paste that into an email, say in Gmail or Yahoo or whatever, and put all the addresses you want to send that to and send that out. They'll be able to see this photo. They can download it themselves, but this is the only photo that they'll see. So you're not giving them the keys to your entire photo library. You're just sharing one specific photo. you can also do that with an album. Same thing, same process. Just look for this symbol up here, and you can share the entire album, and they would just have the link to the album and nothing else in your photo book or photo library. Okay.
Can you repeat the last part of sharing, where instead of using the sending the email addresses, is it create something, a link or something in the bottom?
Yeah, that's just another way to email it. But if you would go up here to the share, you can either type a person's email in here, or you can just copy a link. Just hit, let me do that again. Just go down here where it says copy link.
Oh.
And then you go over and you hit copy.
Uh-huh.
And now you can just drop that into an email. You'll just paste it when you open up the email. And put that into the body of the email, and then send it to as many people as you want, and they can open it up and see the photo. Or if you're sharing an album, they can see the entire album.
Oh, so that's a link. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Before.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think we have time for maybe one last question, and then I'll move on to the conclusion. Michael, are there any more questions in the queue?
I guess chat is clear.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me just go over the takeaways. Again, you can set Google Photos to back up photos sitting on your smartphone or tablet. You can
Just one last question from Lydia, I guess.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, she's asking like, can only people who have Google see the link that you create for sharing?
No, it's not limited to just only Google users. Anybody can look at that link. Yeah.
Can you make
Lindgren here?
Can you make a video with a short video from any of these?
I think there might be a feature on there that I'm not going to have time to go over, but I think there might be a feature in there where you could create a little photo video montage or something like that. But that might be something to explore in there and see. Yeah. And it sounded like there was one other question I heard from somebody.
Yeah, I haven't been able to get my my phone pictures onto my computer here. Could you go over that one more time? This is Michael Lindgren.
Yeah. So Michael, when you say you can't get them on your computer, you're talking about being able to open up Google to see them, what you've backed up on your phone?
Well, I've got some of my pictures on there because I've taken everything with my phone, but I haven't been able to get all of the past pictures on there. Are they? I mean, probably 2016. Everything to 2017, I seem to be getting, but
Okay.
my archive, I guess, I'm not getting that.
So how long have you been using Google Photos?
I guess it was about 17.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have, or I mean 16. I'm up to 17, but I'm not seeing 16.
Okay.
And, yeah, this is weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not going all the way through all of your photos. The only thing I could think of is, what kind of phone are you using?
Well, now I have a Samsung. I just bought an A10e a few months ago. I had a track phone. It was an LTE, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah.
The only thing I can think of on that one is that sometimes your photos get backed up into the cloud of some sort, depending on where you're backing them up. and that's what you're actually seeing on your phone. So some of that archive may actually be just things on the cloud that you're actually viewing. I know that iPhones work that way, so I'm wondering if maybe Android phones do too. But there are some photos on my iPhone that I now only have in the iCloud. They just got automatically backed up there, and the iPhone periodically clears out my phone a little bit to make room. So it doesn't fill up. The other place you might look, Michael, is to see if they might be there is if you go into a Photos account. Why am I not seeing it here? Oh, there it is. Okay. There is an archive, and I don't know if you've tried looking in there.
I just did, yeah.
Okay, nothing there?
No, that's weird.
Yeah.
I seen these photos here just not too long ago, and now I can't get them. It's weird. Unreal.
Yeah.
Well, I want to
Well,
organize all this and whatever.
yeah, yeah.
I guess I'll figure it out.
The other thing would be to maybe check your settings on your phone too, to make sure you've got backup and sync activated correctly and everything like that. So
And that has to be done on the phone, the backup and sync.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right.
So you might want to check there. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Lastly, the just a couple of other takeaways. The app applies keywords to your photos and also groups them by location and other categories so you can easily search and retrieve them. And it does that with faces too. So you can just attach a name and find it there.
Yeah. Before we go, just one last question from Jill.
Mm-hmm.
Jill is asking like, yeah, he had photos in Prime Photos. I guess that is another software for keeping photos, right? So he's asking, can he transfer them to Google?
Not directly, no. Those different cloud apps don't really talk to each other. They're competitors kind of. So if you've got photos backed up on Amazon, but they were coming from your phone, then the minute you turn on Google and start the backup and sync, those same photos would go onto Google as well. So, but in terms of transferring them, you'd have to download those from Amazon and then load them up into Google if they aren't on your phone now. Okay. So I just want to really quickly tell you about a few other classes that are coming up you might be interested in that touch on this area. One is how to digitize analog home videos. We have one on organizing yourself using Google Calendar, Notes and Tasks. That's another Google app. And also virtual travel with Google Earth. My next classes, I am teaching one later this afternoon on photo composition tips, just how to compose photos really skillfully. And then tomorrow, one on the iPhone and just the basic settings on the iPhone. If you are new to the iPhone or just want to get reacquainted with parts of it, you can attend that class. Love for you to share your experience about this class or other classes on Get Set Up. You can do that by just sharing it on your Facebook or Twitter account or whatever you might be using for social media. And our hashtag is Get Set Up, and our Facebook page is at Get Set Up if you want to refer to that. I will be sending you these class notes, and you'll get all the key takeaways here with some other class suggestions, chance to view the schedule, and a chance to click here and give some feedback on what you thought about the class. Lastly, I just want to encourage you to spread the word about Get Set Up. We love to expand our reach and help more people. So any buzz you can create for us would be much appreciated. If you are interested in hosting an interest group on Get Setup, we do facilitate that for you. So you can let us know about that. You can just email us at help@getsetup.io. That's a place where you can also share ideas for new classes that you might like to see us create, and also to create or also to request a recording of this session. So please feel free to drop us a line if you have any interest in any of those.
Oh, I had a question. I had a little problem with the with staying on. It says stay on the recording to book your next class. I tried that, but it didn't work. There was
Okay.
no option
So
to
if
sign
you,
up for the next class.
Sylvia, if you do want some help booking your next class, if you just want to stay on while we close the class, I can help you book another class if you'd like.
Thank you. I'll stay on.
Okay, great. So for everybody else, I thank you for your time, and hope to see you at another Get Setup class very soon.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Sylvia, you were wanting to sign up for another class, is that?
Yes, I think your composition class this
Okay.
afternoon. I still don't know how to navigate. Sometimes I'm lucky and I get the whole schedule. And then sometimes I get only those listed by day. And for some reason, it will start at 5 o'clock. And for some reason, the gray bar at the side doesn't permit me to scroll down to all the classes. It just stops at about 6 or 7 o'clock class, and I couldn't scroll down anymore. That may be my own. I'm on an iMac.
Okay, so if you run into trouble with that, probably the best thing to do would be to just go directly to the website. I'm going to show that on my screen. If you go directly to our website, and you'll find if there's something going on with the link, and I'll bring that up with our tech people, but the website will show you the entire schedule. And if there is a specific class you're interested in, you can just type in the search term. Say for that photography class I mentioned. Yeah, there are some here. It's not showing this particular one, but you can search around a little bit. Also, they have it listed by day. So you could go into the class schedule and just look for what's coming up later today.
I think this is the screen that I usually get. I would go into schedule and see right now I notice, see this little scrolling thing. There's a little, you can scroll down,
right,
all the way down, but I don't know why. This has happened repeatedly, but mine on the right hand side, this gray bar on the right hand side is solid all the way down to the bottom.
Right here, you mean?
Right, no, further right here. Yes, where you have this carrot.
Right here.
Yeah, right. See this little gray bar thing? You move that. You can scroll downwards. But mine, when I'm on this schedule, is solid. This bar extends from top to bottom, so I only get about the listing from 5 a.m. to about 6 or 7 a.m.
Okay. That may be something with the interface. I would say your best bet is to come here to, if you go directly to the website, I would think you'd be able to scroll down all the way like this. If that's not the case, that may be a browser, something with your web browser.
Oh.
And are you using Google Chrome or?
Yes, Chrome.
Okay. If there's any problem there, you might want to try an alternative, like say I think you said you were using a Mac. You might try Safari, their web browser.
Oh, I'm afraid to change because I use it a lot for email and other things, and I'm afraid something else may change there, and I'm not very computer literate. I'm on an iMac right now. I didn't have that problem before. I don't know what happened, because there was a time when I could access all the classes, and it was so, because this is a great schedule by day and then by time.
I have a question in reference to what is your exact email? I mean, your exact web address.
The exact web address is www.getsetup.io.
What does the IO stand for?
That is a new relatively new web suffix that they've come up with. It's like .com or
.org
or something like that.
And then you just go to schedule to see all your different available classes?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, I'm going to leave.
Okay. So Sylvia, the only other thing I would suggest is maybe rebooting your computer and see, sometimes that can make a huge difference. It may be just something with your browser and the computer interface. And if you just reboot your computer, that problem may go away. But the other thing might be to just go directly to the website itself, that getsetup.io. And rather than trying to link directly from the email that you get from us after the class.
Yes, because sometimes I would close it and it would come back with listing the different classes that you are going to be having, and there's an option there that says register, and that was helpful. But there are so many options. The one that I like best is the schedule one, because then I can pick the ones that I have time for. But I consistently get that trouble. I haven't rebooted. I don't even know how to reboot my computer. I know how to reboot my Android.
It would just be shutting down your computer and starting it back up again.
Okay.
Yeah. Or one thing you can do is, let me share my screen again. All right. So if you go up to the little apple in the corner.
Yes.
And you can see shut down right there. Or you can just hit restart. You hit restart, that might do it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Will it reset my option or my settings?
No, it would not do that.
It won't, because if it reset, I'm lost. My son did it for me, but with the pandemic and being in the health, he's afraid to come because he said he might bring in some virus.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much again. I'll probably be sitting in on a lot of and I tried not to ask so many questions.
No, that's fine. I'm glad I could help you. So
it was very clear and a very good pace. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you, Sylvia. You take care, all right?
If I'm successful, I'll be at your 4:30 meeting.
Okay, terrific.
Thank you again.
Okay, all righty.